Alright.
Alrighty, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to this is I think like episode 3, actually episode 3 of Phoenix Fadeaway. Um, we're just gonna get right on into it. I'm short on time, but welcome back. It's been a while actually. We haven't really done an episode. When was the last time we did an episode? Actually, it was like over a week ago, maybe.
It was about a week ago. It was before you went to Vegas, yeah?
Yeah, so it's been a while. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. I want to start obviously because we all love the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Like everybody just loves them. They are the team to talk about right now, especially towards this last week of the regular season. They're in the
Oh
11th
yeah.
seed. They're in the 11th seed. They're not even in the play-in game as of right now. And what do you think about that?
I'd like to say that I called it. I did say that they weren't going to win another game, which was false, but I did say they weren't going to make the play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to pat myself in the back for that one. But I think that this whole season, I don't know, it just feels really, really odd. Like you had the two best teams, supposedly, at the beginning of the season, the two odds-on favorites, right? The
Yeah.
Nets and the Lakers. One is in the play-in, they're 10th in the East, and the other one is not even in the play-in.
Yeah.
You got arguably the two best players in the NBA, Kevin Durant and LeBron James, that may not even be in the playoffs. How does that happen?
I mean, obviously, we can get to it because, think about it. LeBron's team, obviously, whether this is his construction or. Oh my God, the space ended. Give me 1 second. That is awkward. Let's see. Why did that happen? Oh, I know why. Hold on, Adam. I just put it back up. There's a new go to the Twitter profile on Phoenix Fadeaway and join that space. I know what was the issue. That's my fault. Oh, and I have your server muted. Sorry, there was an echo. All right, let's.
It's not letting me. Let's see. What happened? You lost connection?
So no. What happened was I closed my phone when I'm hosting on my phone, and then when I haven't joined back in a certain amount of time, it closed the space.
Ah.
Yeah. Wait, what is going on right now? Cause hold on. Let me refresh. Okay, so there you are. Let me invite you to co-host.
Okay.
Sorry about all the technical difficulties. This is something I thought I had figured out, but
We'll never figure it out.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. And then let me accept the co-host, and then let me just do this. All right, and then I'm gonna meet you in Discord again.
Okay.
All right. Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Why does it say I'm a listener?
I don't know. It's weird right now. Anyways, let's get back into it. So obviously, whether this was LeBron's construction or not, the team as a whole is horribly constructed. Obviously, and obviously with the amount of injuries the Lakers have had all season, and I'm not saying, AD not injured. They're going to be the top 6 seed or whatever, but it's been a rough season for a lot of teams, and they're obviously not the only team to have injuries, but I feel like with their old age and they're already being not deep, it's hurt them a lot.
I don't know. Like, I think I said this at the beginning of the season before we started doing these podcasts. I think I messaged you in the preseason. I think they went 0-6. I said, "Is this a bad omen or something like that?" And you said, "No, they'll be fine," and I agreed with you. But in the back of my head, I really I know preseason doesn't mean anything, but it was the way they were losing in preseason, right? They were just getting blown out. And it looked like a lack of effort. They had no 3-point shooting, even in preseason. And this was months and months and months ago when everyone was healthy and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you put a team like this on the floor. Is it? I have no clue. I'm flabbergasted. Much like everyone else in the world, I'm completely flabbergasted.
Well, I mean, and let's be honest, it starts from the top. It starts from the front office allowing, the Russell Westbrook trade never should have happened. I love Russ. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think, what he's did in OKC can never be, questioned. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about going to the playoffs and finals and everything? And, they lost against the Warriors and then KD went. But I don't care. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for 3 years in a row. How many people do that?
Nobody, and that's why he's a Hall of Famer. But it's all about the construction of the team. All right, I was thinking about this the other night when I was watching Utah. You can't tell me right now that if you take Donovan Mitchell, put him on the Lakers, you take Russ and put him on the Jazz with all their 3-point shooters, which is his weakness, right? So you bolster his weakness, and then you put Spida on the Lakers. You can't tell me that's not a good switch off.
Oh, 100%.
Because Russ is bro, I'm telling you, I really think that's honestly a fix for both teams.
Oh God,
I'm not even kidding.
I'd be very surprised if at any point outside of obviously it looks like Donovan Mitchell's going to end up forcing his way out of Utah, but I don't see how, because I don't see somebody you can trade Donovan Mitchell for. That's a franchise player. He's been loyal to the soil since he got there. Obviously he's had issues, but I think that's also the front office has kind of failed him. They kind of run it back every season. They don't really make any moves. The biggest move they made was getting Mike Conley, which I never really thought made any sense. But I don't know. I also, just as we're talking about Utah, gets kind of straying away from the main topic. I saw Gobert possibly. There's talks about Gobert going to Dallas, and that would be crazy. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but the Lakers suck. And I'll be honest, I still think that we'll end up making the play-in game, and I still think they will beat New Orleans. They actually should have beat New Orleans the other day, but LeBron completely fucking bricked a game-winning three. Or was it a game tie? Yeah, well, if it was a game tie, he would have hit it. But, so it is what it is. But I think it's all about the construction. The front office has been horrible. The fact that they ever let this Russell Westbrook trade go through is horrible. And then after they did, they should have had him running the bench unit. I think he easily would have been 6th man of the year, but his pride is kind of getting in the way, and he feels like he should be a starter. And could you imagine Russ running the bench unit, not having to worry about driving into LeBron or Dwight or something? It would have been so much better. But that's also the coaching issue is. I don't like Vogel, never liked Vogel. I never thought he was a good coach, even after they won the championship, like I've talked about in previous episodes. But, let's be honest, this is his last year. He's out after the season. Whether they could win, if they could miraculously win as an 8th seed and win a championship, because, let's be honest, nobody wants to see LeBron in a 7-game series, right? Especially AD and, possibly Russ. But if they pulled this out, Vogel's gone.
I think that you're 100% right, but I think everybody in that front office, just burn that front office to the ground. Everyone, including Jeannie Buss. I don't know what the hell she's thinking, dude, but she obviously can't run the team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kurt Rambis's kid, whatever the hell his name is, he can't run the team.
Yeah.
Just get rid of all of them. Bring Jerry West back. Do something.
Oh, shit. Good luck with that. Jerry West is living it up down the hall.
I know, but I'm just saying, dude, something's got to change. Bring Magic back. Bring get Shaq's ass in there. So anyone is going to be better than what they have right now. Like, this is terrible. The way that this is right now, Lakers, I don't know, man. They're going to be the laughing stock of LA for 10 years or so. If you know.
Especially with PG's return. Well, which will kind of, transition to that. Especially with Paul George's return. I don't know if you saw his return game. He absolutely fucking was just tortured. Yeah, he was literally a walking bucket. And this is a guy, I want everybody to remember, a couple years ago, this is Pandemic P, we were calling him. But a couple years before that, I want you to be reminded that this guy was in the MVP talks in OKC alongside Russell Westbrook. This guy is a fucking bucket. I mean, let's go back. Let's even roll the years back to Indiana. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was that guy, Obviously, they couldn't really get over the hump that was LeBron, but it is what it is. But, I mean, this is just Paul George's return. Kawhi. Let's not forget about Kawhi. I mean, is Norm still injured?
He's still injured.
Oh, man. This Clippers team is going to be scary. And we both know this. We've talked about this. But just, kind of sizing them up in comparison to the Lakers, they're so much deeper. They have so much better coaching. Their culture's there. They play with energy. You got guys like Pat Beverly that kind of, worked on that culture before he went to Minnesota, obviously. And then you got a guy like Reggie Jackson and Montrezl Harrell, even though he's not there anymore. Like, there's a culture of just, they're gritty, man. Like, you got Luke Kennard. Yeah, man. Like, they get that shit out the mud. And, I mean, that's why I agree that if Lakers don't fucking get it together and kind of wipe the slate clean after the season and get quite literally rid of everybody besides LeBron, AD, Dwight, Stanley Johnson, and Austin Reeves, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, man.
Well, let's be honest here. Let's go down the list of the front office of the Clippers versus the Lakers, right? What, like, you can't tell me you wouldn't want to have Ballmer as your owner.
No, dude, I love seeing owners at the games getting hyped up, and I feel like every Clippers game you watch, there is Steve Ballmer hyping those fucking dudes up, and I love it.
Right?
I love it.
Yep. Right? And then you got the GM. You tell me you don't want Jerry West as your GM?
Shit.
Dude's a proven GM.
Yep.
Come on. He's proven. Then you got Ty Lue as the head coach. Again, proven. Right?
Yep.
He's one of the best head coaches in the NBA, whether people want to admit it or not. It's time that he gets out of LeBron's shadow.
Yep.
It's time that people admit that he's a good coach. Right? He may be the best coach in the NBA. Who knows? But everything that the Clippers have, organizational-wise, is better than the Lakers. You can't have that if you're the Lakers.
No. Yeah, you can't. And it's embarrassing that it's even gotten to that point. Like, there was all those memes and shit about, like when Kawhi came to LA and, this was Kawhi town and he was taking over and, you got the fucking, what was it?
Billboard.
Yeah, the billboard, and they got all these commercials like, and then they got bounced, but like, this is the, I think everybody can feel it. This is the shift. This is the time where these Clippers look amazing. Not amazing because obviously they're like a 6-7 or they're somewhere around towards the bottom of the West, but that's without Kawhi, that's without Norm Powell, that's without Paul George for a majority of the season. So it's like, what is going to happen when they get those guys? And that's why I think that Ty Lue's so underappreciated. He's been without his best players all season. And like, it's crazy to me. But yeah, the Lakers are in trouble. That is for sure. Especially LeBron's legacy at this point, because I think that last shot against New Orleans was rough. I liked his little, triple pump fake, but he's got to like take a second. There was so much time left on the shot clock to get a better shot there. But I also want to talk about this. This was a last minute addition in terms of the topics. Did you watch the K? This is what we were talking about, or this is what I told you to add to the topics. It was KD's double standard. So, and what I meant by that was that KD. I don't know if you watched the Hawks game yesterday against the Nets. KD, yes. So KD dropped 55 points for a loss, and on Twitter is getting absolutely praised as the best player in the game by far. It's not even close, and doesn't matter that he lost. Right? Like, nobody's even questioning he lost. It's just the fact that he got 55 points. I want to remind people, in the first half of a game, Kobe Bryant scored 55 points. And you are praising Kevin Durant, which obviously people say is one of the best players of all time. 55 points, that's a career high in the entire game. You're telling me that's the best scorer ever? But LeBron can drop fucking 38, 10, and 10, and it doesn't matter because he lost? Like, come on.
I think this double standard comes from the fact that you never heard Kevin Durant rewatch his team winning the finals and say, that's the moment I knew that I was the GOAT. Right
yeah,
there.
but that was
that's the GOAT.
But let's be honest, LeBron got that double standard existed way before that. You know that.
Because his nickname's the King, man.
The chosen one.
The chosen one, the King. Like, it all comes down to, listen, people like people that are confident, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't like people that are arrogant. They don't like people that are cocky. That's just how America works.
Speak for yourself.
There's a fine line right there, okay? There's
Yeah.
a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And I feel like KD has walked that perfectly. Whereas LeBron, people just perceive him as being cocky. And, some people don't like that. I think that's where the double standard comes from.
Well, let's not be honest. Let's be honest. This is not just a double standard with KD. It's a LeBron versus the world type of thing. Like, LeBron cannot make everybody happy. It does not matter what he does. But then you see other players doing the same thing, and maybe it's because LeBron's arrogant or whatever. I never really felt like LeBron was arrogant. I think he was confident in himself to the point where he was able to express that in the public without fear, which I think actually speaks volumes considering how much pressure he had coming out of high school. Literally with a tattoo saying the chosen one. You know what I mean, though? Like, it takes a lot of balls, and I think people forget often how much pressure he had, and most people would really fold under that. And he's definitely lived up to those expectations and even maybe even surpassed them, and to the point where, I mean, let's be honest, he has been the king for the last 15 years. So I mean, how far off was he?
It's not far off, but it's the fact that I don't think Jordan has ever called himself the GOAT. I don't think Jordan ever hosted a national television thing saying that he's going to go to this team or that team, or making a decision during free agency. He never did those things. I think that speaks volumes about Jordan's character. He let other people decide, like people before him. Like Wilt Chamberlain never did that stuff. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never did that stuff. Bill Russell never did that stuff. Jerry West never did that stuff. So this is a new kind of superstar, and whether or not people like it or not, that's just the way he is. And like I said, some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it. But that's LeBron. You got to take it or leave it with LeBron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But let me ask you this. Did at any point after maybe 86, was there ever a moment that you think Michael Jordan ever thought that he wasn't the best player?
I think that the thought crossed his mind when he couldn't get out of the first round, couldn't get out of the second round, couldn't beat the Pistons, couldn't beat the Celtics. I think there was a time early on in his career when he said, it's just all I'm going to be is a scorer. Am I going to win anything? I've won everywhere else, but maybe the NBA is different.
Yeah.
I think there was a time when that thought had crossed his mind. LeBron never had that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't LeBron make the playoffs his first year?
I don't think it was his first year.
I think he did.
He might have. Let me look. Let me see. LeBron playoffs appearances. Cause I want to say it was like his second year. I could be wrong. Let me see.
I feel like they made it and they got just mollywopped, but I could be wrong.
2006. But he got.
Was when he was drafted, right?
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. So I want to say the first time he made the playoffs was 2006. So it's actually 3 years.
So 3 years. Okay, and Jordan, I'm not sure, but where I'm going with this is that it's two different ways. It's two different Americas, I guess you could say. It's two different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
As LeBron fans, that's why this debate is so polarizing to people, right?
Yeah.
Because you literally have two different kinds of people. You have a quiet confidence that goes back to, to quote a president, speak softly and carry a big stick. That's Jordan. Whereas LeBron's the opposite way. And some people like LeBron's way, some people like Jordan's way. But LeBron is a great player. I don't think people, even LeBron's biggest opponents, would ever say that he's a bad player, right?
Unless you're Paul Pierce.
Well, Paul Pierce, I mean, much like Isaiah Thomas, who's sitting there trying to say that Jordan's not even in the top 10. Did you see that?
Yeah. I mean,
everyone has their haters, right?
Yeah. Mike and Isaiah will never like each other. That's just how it is.
Exactly. And I don't think Paul Pierce is ever going to like LeBron. That's just the way it is.
Well, I thought that too, but I also recently he put LeBron in the top 3. So that's progress. That's progress. Paul Pierce is kind of squashed. And I mean, I think after the whole him and KG squashed the beef with Ray Allen, after all these years, I think he's starting to realize like it is. I mean, they've been retired forever now, dude. Like,
I don't know.
I think they're finally getting over that shit. And Paul Pierce. I mean, I would be mad if I was Paul Pierce too. Like LeBron has a full mixtape of highlights just on him. Like I get it, but.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, we kind of got off topic, but the Clippers as of right now own LA, and the way it looks, right now as rosters are currently constructed, they're going to be dominating LA for a couple years. Obviously, there's going to be huge changes to LA next season. I'm curious to see as to what happens. I think the front office, the coaching staff should be outside of maybe Phil Handy. I like Phil Handy. I think they're gonna they gotta get got, man. They gotta be out of there. Let them go to fucking, I don't even know, Orlando. Just get them out.
That whole roster needs to be rebuilt. Then they're gonna have growing pains next year too.
Oh, 100%.
It just keeps going on. But this is the life of the Lakers and the way that they want to be constructed.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So, but I'm just trying to think.
But ending here with the Clippers thing, just for me, the Clippers scare the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
They scare the shit out of me. I think they're the most dangerous team in the NBA. The fact that nobody talks about them is unreal to me. Because as somebody that watches almost every game, or at the very least highlights, who reads, they should be the talk of the NBA. If Kawhi Leonard comes back, they're the best team in basketball. I'm sorry. At the very least, on paper, they're the best team in basketball.
See, I don't know if I'm sold like that. I think they would be the dark horse because I think it's really hard. It's really, really hard to try to take away from Phoenix, Memphis. I still think
Memphis took away from Phoenix.
Well, we'll get to that. But I also think like we got to think about the East too. Like, the Celtics, the Bucks, the Heat.
You got two guys, okay, that can switch off on any position, that can hit any shot, that can rebound, that can defend anyone, that can hit a 3, that can hit a 2. Who else can do that in the NBA? There's no other team.
Jason Tatum and like Jaylen Brown.
Oh, come on. Come on.
I'm serious.
Jaylen Brown can't defend Ayton in the post.
Oh my God! Come on! No,
Brown's a little skinny guy.
No. But let's be honest. Neither of those guys are really doing much in the contest against DeAndre Ayton in the post.
Draymond Green can, and guess what? Paul George's bigger than him, taller than him, and weighs more than him.
But he's not stronger than Draymond, and he's not got the energy Draymond's got.
All right.
Anyways.
Still will guard Ayton better in the post. But
All right, we'll see, because realistically, realistically, the Clippers are the 8th seed right now, and could possibly see the Phoenix Suns in the first round. So we'll see how that goes. You know, we'll watch that. We'll monitor that situation, and we'll go from there.
Have to be heavily drunk if they play the Suns in the first round. I'm just gonna go and throw that out there.
Odds are they are probably going to. So buy the beer now because it's not cheap. All right.
Beer, shit, dude.
Have you ever,
Get some Everclear up.
Oh fuck! Have you ever tried a peach Crown Royal?
Yes, sir.
That shit is delicious. Sorry.
It is very delicious.
Getting fucking sidetracked. All right, Warriors. They have looked atrocious up until last night. Obviously, they clinched a playoff spot. And it's funny that we're saying a 3 seed in the West looks absolutely fucking horrible. But
because Clay.
Yeah.
They're being carried by Jordan Poole right now.
Yeah.
They have. It looks like their supporting cast that was so good that made them so scary in the beginning of the season has completely disappeared. Right. So you're basically waiting for Steph to come back to play with Jordan Poole and a shell of his former self and Klay Thompson and Draymond. That's what you're waiting for, right?
Well, to be honest, I don't know if you did you watch the Warriors game last night?
I watched the highlights, I'll be honest.
So they were down. They were down like, I want to say like 17 or something. I can't even remember.
But didn't they play the Jazz?
They did.
But that's a whole different story right there.
But even then, though, like, I mean, a 20-point, whatever the lead was, it was a big difference. And the reason they came back actually was Klay Thompson, because he kind of had those moments where he's hitting the shots he used to hit.
Yeah, and Vince Carter, when he came to the Suns and he was 87 years old, looked like himself every other 5 games.
How you gonna disrespect the best dunker in NBA history, and I think arguably the greatest Toronto Raptor to ever live?
Andre Bargnani, dude.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm just saying, listen, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And I feel like that's what Klay Thompson is now. There's probably be some Warrior fans that are upset with me. They already are upset with me whenever I bring that up on Twitter. But I feel like Klay is done. That's it.
No, he's not done. That guy is too good in his game. What his game's predicated on is just catch and shoot. So there's no way. I mean, that dude's gonna play until he's like 40 at least.
But if you can't shoot, or if you can't make the shot, what good are you on the field?
Well, he made those shots last night, so let's see if that that'll kind of he'll carry that into the next game. I don't want to give up on him too quick. I'm never a person that's just going to flat out be like, yeah, he's done. He's had a couple, because he's probably played 15 games this season. It's too early. The sample size is too small, and obviously there was a time where Draymond wasn't playing. Steph's not playing. I think those 3 need to be playing all at the same time to really get an idea of where they're all at, and where this team is at.
Really? I mean, I don't know, man.
But that's how it's been, though. Like, none of these guys have really, they're throughout their whole career, they played together, so it's like, it's not like this is a new thing that, they kind of need to play together to know where they're all at, you know what I mean? It's because outside of maybe Steph on his own, because he was just stat padding most of the time, hitting, taking 33s of the fucking game, it looked horrible. It was horrible. And then he goes on the worst fucking scoring drought of his career right after, which is karma. Everything comes full circle, shout out.
Yep.
But
by Full Circle.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I think they look okay. Jordan Poole is going to be the next Steph Curry. I don't care what anybody says. That kid is crazy.
Can they keep him?
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, he really just is going to depend on how long Klay and Steph play. If they want to stay for another 6 years, probably not.
So riddle me this. Let's say the Warriors they go in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson plays like complete shit. Jordan Poole completely outplays him, right?
Yeah.
Completely outplays him like he's been doing thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jordan Poole wants a max contract.
Mm-hmm.
Would you trade Klay Thompson?
Like me, or you're asking me if I was the Warriors?
If you were the Warriors, would you trade Klay Thompson to keep Jordan Poole?
I would if I was the Warriors, but the Warriors will not. The Warriors will keep Klay because they've been very, very loyal to those three, Klay and Steph and Draymond. So I know they won't.
I was, man, I don't know.
Think about it. They gave up. They could have signed KD. They could have given up Klay for KD.
Yeah, but Klay was, homegrown.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's still going to be the same situation. So you're telling me the upside of Jordan Poole is better than, what was it, the 2018 or 2019 KD? No.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But you gotta go by. Look, basketball is what have you done for me lately?
No, I know.
Okay, and
I don't think that's what their philosophy is, though. I don't think they would have, because I think, KD did more, obviously, than any other Warrior in their run, those 4 years. So, there's 3 or 4 years, I can't remember. So, if we were going by that logic, they would have signed him instead of Klay. So but that's why I say I have a feeling they won't trade Klay Thompson, because I guarantee they don't want to play against him. All those years he knows Steph's move. You want Klay guarding Steph? You want Klay guarding Jordan Poole? Poor.
I don't know. Teams that I'm most interested in watching this offseason are the Suns, the Jazz, the Warriors, and the Lakers, because I think those 4 teams are going to change drastically.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I want to add Dallas, because I think Dallas is going to try to make a move. I mean, they're in the 4th seed right now. They clinched the playoff spot, so.
Let's be honest here. The way that the Jazz are constructed, they can't be constructed like this. Like, that's what I was alluding to when you brought up the fact that the Warriors beat the Jazz the other night.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's their coaching. Is it their coaching?
And that's what I was going to ask. I don't know, because I actually think their roster construction isn't bad. Like, you have a guy that can run. You have a Gobert, right? Like, this guy is a defensive powerhouse. He's he's going the royal guard in the paint. And then you got a guy that can drive to the basket, finish at an elite level, and shoot the 3 at a pretty good chip in Donovan Mitchell. And then you're surrounded with guys that can do 3 points and some mid range, like Jordan Clarkson basically, and then Mike Conley. Yep. So like, it's not a horribly constructed team. I think the players are just not playing well. Like with them losing Joe Ingles, I think was a big issue. But I don't know.
Donovich is always hurt also.
Yeah, he's always hurt. Like, it's just that it's never going to go their way, and like, they don't have enough talent in those players to get over other teams in the West. Like, they just don't. I mean, I don't know how it's like, Donovan Mitchell is a really good 2 guard, but like, I think Jamal Murray's better. I think, because I want to say honestly, at this point, Jordan Poole might be better. I don't know, man. Like,
I'd put Jordan Poole up there in the top shooting guards in the NBA with Booker and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, he's looking amazing. He's looking amazing. But I don't know. We're getting off topic. The Jazz. We'll talk about the Jazz at some point in the next episode, because they. I definitely think that maybe this next season, this off season, or the season after, Donovan's out. He's out.
I think that if they lose in the first round this season,
he's out.
They blow up the whole team. No, I think they blow up the whole team.
I don't think he wants to be there, though. I think I know there's a lot of talks about him going to the Knicks, and I don't think that's improbable, actually.
You know what's funny is I feel like the Jazz and the Lakers' fate are intertwined. I really do. I'm not kidding.
I don't know. I don't see it. I know you're talking about a Russell and Donovan Mitchell trade. There's no way they make that trade, though.
I think there is.
We'll see. We'll wait the offseason. Once playoffs is over, we'll see. We'll because I'm sure we're gonna have a shit ton of podcasts on free agency and destination.
I can't wait, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Can't wait.
So let's hold that for now on that. We're gonna talk about Miami. Miami, since the Udonis Haslem, Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, situation. The last 10 games are 5-5. They're on a 3-win streak, which is pretty good. They did beat Boston. It was a little bit questionable, the refereeing, but it is what it is. They beat the Kings, and then they just beat the Bulls, which I knew was gonna happen. Let's be honest. They play today.
Beat the Bulls.
Yeah, exactly. They're 2-19 against top seeded teams. Fucking embarrassing. That's all I can say is just fucking embarrassing. Like, as much as praise that I've given DeMar this season, I don't understand how he's still basically. I mean, I obviously it's not just his fault, but like all those years of LeBronto and not being able to get over that hump, you tell me you can't pull out more than 2 wins against top seeded teams? Like, that's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Miami right now? Like, I don't know if you've been watching Miami games. Like, how do you think of like because they lost by 14 points to these Warriors. Just got shit on by Jordan Poole. So what do you think?
I think they're a mixed bag, honestly. I think they've had some really, really good games. I think they've had some really shitty games. I think there's definitely something going on with Jimmy Butler. I don't know what it is. Maybe he thinks he's freaking Will Smith. That's another topic for another time, though. But like honestly, I don't know what's going on with him. Like Jimmy Butler, you put him on that team, young Jimmy with D Rose. He was great back then, man. Right? It was a great story.
He was good. I wouldn't say he was great.
He was a great story. Right? but now he just seems like a head case, man. Like who goes to Miami, one of the best organizations in the entire NBA, right? And who goes and starts a fight like that?
With
like
the
you
two
already did it in Philly. You already did it in Philly.
Don't forget about Minnesota.
Situation in Minnesota too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's going on with him? That's all I want to know. But getting back to your question, what do I think of them? I think that they're not gonna do shit.
Damn, that's a hot take because they're still the number 1 seed in the East.
Yeah, but I feel like no one wants to be the number 1 seed in the East.
Well,
I'm a big NBA conspiracy theorist. I'm a big NBA, a person that looks at actions, right? But we'll get into this also when we talk about the Suns and the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, I don't think they're going to do shit in the playoffs. Honestly, I don't. And I think they need to get rid of Jimmy Butler. I don't know where they're going to put him, but they need to get rid of him because I feel like at this point he's just a cancer.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. He's getting back to that locker room cancer that everybody said in Minnesota, which is interesting because I don't understand what had provoked it. Obviously, he's a very competitive guy. He wants to win. I know losing to the Warriors without Steph Curry, you don't like that. Losing to the Sixers without, I think they didn't have Harden or Embiid. I get it, and he also lost to the Timberwolves, ironically enough. But you gotta be able to keep your cool, man. Like that. I mean, you get paid millions and millions of dollars, and like these are your brothers at the end of the day. And I'm sure they've squashed it for the most part because they look like they have, just by the way they look on the bench and the way they're playing. But I agree that it's going to be very hard for them to make it out of the first round because I mean. Chances are they're going to right now the Hawks are in the 8th seed, but there's a chance that the Nets are going to be the 8th seed. So if they see the Nets first round, I don't know, maybe it'll be close, and I think Miami could take it. I mean, it's going to be hard trying to guard KD, but I don't think that Brooklyn will have a good answer for Bam. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think that obviously they are not going to make another finals run. It'd be a miracle. Obviously the first one probably was as well, but because they just look. I mean, think about that bubble run though. Like they were so fun to watch, and it feels like now they've kind of turned into like what the Clippers were the first season in LA when Kawhi and PG came. Like they just walked up and they were just expecting to win. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they were like, oh, we just got to dribble, just take a couple shots, and we win. You know, and like that's not how the NBA is, man. It's not no fucking cakewalk. No team's a cakewalk.
No team's a cakewalk, exactly.
Yeah, and that's why I mean I think that's a kind. It got to their head a little bit, and I like Jimmy. I don't know what he's gonna do after this season. I think there's talks. I think that he'll probably end up going back to Philly if he gets out of Miami, which would be very interesting. Because you got a ball handler in James Harden, obviously Joel Embiid, and then Jimmy Butler. I don't know. That'd be very, very interesting to see. That's all I know. But they look okay. They're playing fine. They have these games where they look really good. They have these games where they look like a G League team, and it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that though with one of the better coaches in the league with Spo. Like seeing inconsistency like that, it makes you wonder, you know.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say is that they shouldn't, like, when you have a team like they have, when you have a coach like they do, when you have a GM, a front office, a culture. They're always talking about the Heat culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't have Jimmy doing that stuff. Like
Yeah.
they will not stand for that.
Yep.
They will not.
And it's funny because that was actually the big selling point in having Jimmy to come to Miami was for him to
Yeah.
his views and his the way he is kind of aligned with their culture, and then that was kind of backfiring on them, ironically enough.
Exactly.
But I mean that is what it is. Miami. It's crazy to think that we're talking about the one seed in the East that we've also been talking about as the harder conference this year, as they're not going anywhere. You know, it's just crazy to me. But let's go on. We're going to talk about, just briefly, because this is not huge, but Robert Williams' injury, I mean, I think it's big for the Celtics because he was a big part of their defensive, strategy. But, I mean, hopefully he'll be back because obviously the Celtics are in the 3 seed right now. If this playoff started today, they'd be playing the Bulls. I mean, do I have to say anything? Like, thanks a lot, Chicago. Yeah, so hopefully he'd be back by the second round. And I think I'm gonna say it. I still think the Celtics could make it out of the East this year, and I still think that they could win the chip, and it would be fucking amazing because I love Jason Tatum and I love Jaylen Brown. I would get kind of pissed off that Marcus Smart would have a chip, but it is what it is. Okay, whatever.
Yep. So I mean, Robert Williams, he'll be back. He had that surgery, but he'll be back for the playoffs. I think they should coast to a victory against the Bulls if the standings hold up.
Yeah.
I think it'll be like a 4-1 at the very optimistic for the Bulls. I think maybe they win one game.
Yeah, they'll get
DeRozan
one.
maybe drops like 80 points and wins.
He'll drop 82. He'll drop 82 in the Kobe Fours.
Exactly. But Robert Williams will come back. They should. I mean, let's look at the standings here real quick. Like, let me pull them up real quick. So if everything holds, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Celtics play the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'll be honest with you.
And let's say that happens. Who do you got coming out?
I don't know, man, because like here's the thing: Robert Williams plays all 3 levels and will block all 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
He can move from the 3-point range, right, the 3-point line, guarding a guard, to blocking a driver to the lane.
Yep.
And you got to be honest, he is so mobile.
Yep.
Okay, that I don't know if we've seen someone that can defend like this since Larry Sanders on the Bucks. Go Google him if you don't know who he is.
No, I know who he is.
That guy was the most mobile center and shot blocker that I've ever seen, and he reminds me. Robert Williams is bigger, okay, but he reminds me of Larry Sanders. What I'm trying to say is, I don't know if Giannis can drive against the Celtics. I really don't.
Wow.
So I got the Celtics beating the Bucks if they meet in the finals.
Wow. All right. Big take. And I agree. To be honest, I don't know if I would have said that. I don't know if Giannis can drive against the Celtics because I think Giannis can drive against quite literally any team in the league with ease. Um, the only thing is that he's gonna be on the free throw line, and we saw the other night. Who were they playing? The other night, who did the Bucks play? I was watching it, and it came down
Talking
to
about when he hit the three.
yeah. Oh yeah, it was against. Was it against the
Who was
Sixers?
it?
No, it was against the
I
Nets.
forget.
It was against the Nets. And no, but it came down
Nets.
to him hitting clutch free throws, and he did it. That is going to be the key in the playoff because he's going to drive. They're going to build the wall, kind of like 2019 Raptors. And that's what it's going to kind of come down to. But this time around, he's got a little bit better of a J. He's got a little bit better feel from, shooting from the free throw line. But that's what's going to come down. He's going to crack under the pressure at the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Willie, I don't know. He just came off a championship run. They're the second seed in the East. I mean, they got blown out the other day, but Giannis wasn't playing by the Clippers. But like he just became the number one scorer in Bucks history, over Kareem.
Yep.
So like, there's so much going his way. It's hard for me to believe that. I don't want to bet against him. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. He's too good. He's too talented. His team is very good. So for me to say, oh yeah, like he's just gonna fall off in the playoffs, I don't think so. Like everybody was saying that last year, and then they swept Miami, who like swept them or beat them 4-1 in the bubble, and like
Yep.
I think that was kind of the turning point where Giannis was like, I can do this. Like I run this shit, and I think that's kind of what it's gonna turn into. But obviously, playoffs is a whole different beast. And it is what it is. We'll see. I'm excited for playoffs. It's not coming soon enough. I'm kind of ready for it right now. These last couple of regular season games have been like very entertaining, but also boring at the same time because I'm like, yeah, whatever, because
Exactly.
it's already locked in. Like the teams outside of like the ones that have been very entertaining and I've been like excited for, like the teams trying to get into the play-in. And like they're trying to like figure out seeding towards the bottom of the divisions, or the conferences, I should say. I was talking about football yesterday. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's gonna be interesting. Playoffs this year is gonna be fun. I really, really hope. The one thing I hope for playoffs. Well, I have a couple things I hope, but the main thing is I hope Kawhi's here. Because if Kawhi's here, oh man, that's all.
I hope two things. Kawhi is here, and I hope Zion makes an entrance somehow.
I don't think so. Didn't they say Zion won't play this season, like in playoffs or anything?
I don't care. I hope it happens anyway.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if they're the eighth seed, I don't see why not. Get him some playoff experience. Like I honestly, I don't know how he matches up against Ayton.
He pushes him around like he pushes everyone around.
So we'll have to see. Well, let's go into our last topic, which is the game the other day, the Suns versus the Memphis Grizzlies.
All right, I'll take this one from the top.
Yep.
Now, I'm a big. I fall into the category of a fan that believes that there is more going on than what the fans see. Now, I'm not gonna say that they planned this, okay? But I feel like the Suns, when they saw the Grizzlies resting all their players, were like, "This is a perfect chance to give a young team confidence that they're gonna supposedly need if they face us in the playoffs." With that said, am I worried about the Grizzlies? I'm scared to death. Okay? I'm scared to death. Okay? Because I'll be honest with you, I picked that game not to watch. I've watched every single game but two. I did not watch that game the other night. I thought the Suns were going to kill him. But from what I saw in the highlights, from what I saw in the articles and just talking with other Suns fans and stuff like that, Grizzlies completely outplayed the Suns. Fine. Whatever. Take it. There's a lot of teams that have outplayed the Suns this year, right?
Not a lot of
teams.
teams.
On Christmas Day, the Heat blew them out. The Celtics blew them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like we've said so many times before, the playoffs are a completely different beast.
Yeah.
right? Completely different beast. And there's two things that you can guarantee with Chris Paul, right? Two things. One is that he's probably always going to get injured, whether it be a major injury or a ticky-tack injury.
Damn, that's
And
not
the
what I thought you
second
were gonna
thing,
say.
the second thing that you can always guarantee with Chris Paul is that he's going to be clutch and he's not going to turn the ball over.
True.
I think in the playoffs last season, the entirety of the playoffs, that includes the finals, I believe he turned the ball over a total of 11 times or something like that.
Damn.
Okay. The Grizzlies depend on getting out and running. If the Suns and the Grizzlies meet, it's going to come down to turnovers. Who can make the other team turn over the ball more? And I think if they start piling up the turnovers, the Grizzlies, I think their confidence is going to go to shit for a young team.
Not Ja. Not Ja.
No?
Ja. I don't think Ja fears anything but God. And I don't even know about that, to be honest.
Listen, we got a point guard.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Dylan Brooks kind of popped off. Like he dropped 37 and 4. Zaire Williams is one of those, because he's a rookie this year. Zaire Williams, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because a lot of people are saying like he should be, winning Rookie of the Year. No, fuck you. S.K. Cunningham. Remember that motherfucker's name. Put some respect.
Evan Mobley. Anyway.
I mean,
listen,
it's not fucking Zaire Williams.
Whatever. But listen, Grizzlies have had the Suns' number ever since Ja yammed in Aaron Baines' face like 3 years ago. and all I'm saying is the Suns don't forget. That's all I gotta say. The Suns don't forget.
Well,
and
then, hey.
The Suns are just, I think, if you would have asked me, and this is me being my most optimistic, they're setting the Grizzlies up for a massive failure. Massive.
Wow. Failure. I don't know, man. A little bit of confidence goes a long way with young guns, man. And
yeah, but there's a lot to be said about experience. It's like, do you remember when the Warriors were just lighting the NBA on fire, right? And they played the Spurs, and the Spurs just shit on them.
But that was with Kawhi. Or are you talking about this season?
No, it was like 2014.
Yeah, that was with Kawhi. That's different. It's so different now.
You still had a mix of veterans with young guys, which is basically what the Phoenix Suns are now, right?
Yeah.
You got a mix of young guys with veterans. They have experience. You got some people say that he's the smartest player in the NBA, or at least in the top 3, Chris Paul, right?
Hold on, I gotta stop you there though. Is that what we're calling Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan now though? Is just veterans? These are all time. I mean, come on, 2014. These guys were all time great players, man. These are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Tim Duncan was what, 35?
Probably around there, yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's what, you look at Chris Paul and everything like that. That's what I'm trying to make a case of that. This is that scenario.
I just want you to I want to remind you real quick though. The Spurs won the chip that year.
Yes.
So we're talking.
Yes, so this is that's what I'm trying to allude to right now.
Okay.
Is that if the Suns meet the Grizzlies, I feel like it's going to be that sort of thing. But that pivotal moment for the Grizzlies next year, they will remember it. And I think this is what I'm going to say. I love the Suns. You know that. Everybody knows that, right? If you know me, you know I love the Suns.
You bleed purple.
Exactly. This is their last year to win a championship.
Wow.
Period. Because next year when Kawhi's back, okay, next year when the Grizzlies have experience, they will not win, especially because I don't think they're going to be able to keep Ayton.
Really? Where do you think Ayton would go?
I think Ayton's going to go to Chicago. I think the Suns are going to do some stupid sign and trade bullshit with like, what's that power forward they have on the bench, the Bulls.
Oh, fuck if I know.
You know who I'm talking
about. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, it's something like that. I don't remember his name though.
I think the Suns are going to do a sign and trade for Vucevic and him, and maybe like a first-round pick, and they're going to trade Ayton because I don't think they're going to be able to keep him. There's so many teams that are going to want Ayton. They're just going to find the best package and ship him out of town, dude. That's just what it comes down to. And that's that.
I'd be very surprised to see Aiden out of Phoenix, to be honest.
How are they gonna keep him, dude? They can't.
They'll have to
They
get off
can't
the Chris Paul off the Chris Paul contract.
can't get off the Chris Paul contract.
You have to.
You're gonna get rid of. Okay, this is something else I wanted to add. I know you're running out of time and you got to go. But
Yeah, we're
real
good.
quick, just this whole thing with how Chris Paul makes big guys better. If you look at the stats, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when Chris Paul was out, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Aiton's stats were so much better.
Mm-hmm.
His Chris Paul, I think, runs an offense too much, whereas Campaign and Booker, when they were running the offense with Chris Paul out, they just wanted to get Ayton shots, dude. They
Yeah.
saw what he can do with his field goal percentage, with his efficiency and everything like that. They kept feeding him the ball, dude.
And that's the reason, though, is why I think I don't see Phoenix letting him walk. I don't think they're gonna let him force his way out, kind of. And that's why I think, because I mean, it's a bold statement to say that this is their last year. Obviously, it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot harder because the Grizzlies are going to be really good.
I think it's their last year, man. They just don't like. All right, let's be real here. Honestly, honestly, is there a world after everybody saw what Cam Johnson can do for those 3 games before he got injured? Is there a world where Jay Crowder should be starting in the power forward over Cam Johnson?
No.
Like, everybody feels the same way. So why is Jay Crowder still starting?
I don't know. That's a question for Monty Williams.
Anyway, yeah, this is their last season. I'm serious.
Well, I think I would wait. I would wait because I think after this season, win or lose, I think they'll try to get off the Chris Paul contract. How they do that, I'm not sure. But they will have to maneuver their way through that. And I think that they're going to try to keep Book and Ayton together. And then I think their big 3 should be McHale. Because you got to have to choose. You're going to have to give up either McHale or you're going to have to give up Cam Johnson. And it's just
McHale's on a cheap contract. You can keep both.
But not forever.
No, not forever, especially if Cam Johnson continues to be the best 3-point shooter in the NBA. By the way, look that stat up. Just saying.
Yeah.
Shooting 45% from the 3-point range. That's insane. But you can keep both. Like, Bridges wants to be here. He literally has said repeatedly he will do everything in his power to stay here. Cam Johnson, his best friend is Bridges. You can keep both. You will be able to work with them to keep both.
I don't know, man. Money talks like a motherfucker, man.
No, I don't think either of those kids really give a shit about the money, man.
Yeah, you wait and see though when you get offered $15 million a year versus $30 million a year. I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, the Grizzlies have the same issue, right?
Yeah.
The Warriors have the same issue. The Hawks have that issue. The Grizzlies, I already said that, but there's so many.
They're in your head.
They're gonna have to pay Robert Williams also. And
yeah.
Oh my God! Like, they're gonna have to give him Jared Allen money, aren't they?
Nah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think so yet.
I don't know, man.
I don't think so yet, just because I don't think the public is thinking that he's a big part of their defensive strategy yet. Like, he's not really getting that type of credit. So I think he doesn't understand yet how much he's going to be worth in a couple years. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't think he's going to sign a big deal anytime soon. At least 3 years out, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I want to see what Memphis can do because Memphis has a really good young roster, but I think they need a bigger piece to really win. I don't think that this team, even with, like, let's just say they make the deep run. Like, let's say they make the Western Conference Final this year. I don't think they would come back, run it back, and make it or win it next year. You know what I mean? Like, I think they need, unless like Jaren Jackson Jr. and Dylan Brooks make they take huge strides. You know, this season.
Have.
No, but I'm saying like huge.
Brooks went head to head with Booker, and they won. In terms of scoring, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Booker had what, 44 or something like that in that game?
Yeah, it was 41, I think. But that's without Ja, Jaren, Steven Adams, like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think, listen, I think that the Grizzlies are going to murder the T-Wolves if the T-Wolves are indeed the 7th seed. Okay. But I think after that, I don't know, man. Can you really see them murdering the Warriors if the Warriors are in shape?
Yes. I'm just being honest. I really could. I really could. It's gonna take Draymond kicking the shit out of Steven Adams in his nuts again.
Let's do this then, real quick. Let's say the Clippers beat the T-Wolves, move into the 7th seed. Okay. Let's say the T-Wolves are the 8th seed. So you got Clippers. Let's say Kawhi comes back. Do you see the Grizzlies shitting on the Clippers?
Not shitting on them, but I think that they could, outside of barring injury, I think they could still win in 7.
Because they play the same style.
Yeah.
That gritty defense. Like, I don't know, man.
But I think that just the I think Ja is just too consistent. That's the thing. But I don't think, I know it was a hypothetical, but I don't think Kawhi's going to be here for the first round. I think he's probably at best going to come back for the second round. But we can kind of wait and see because there's not many updates. You know how Kawhi's camp is.
Yep.
But
you know how Kawhi is. He doesn't
well,
period.
Yeah, you know how it goes. But I don't know. Like I don't know. It's so hard to say, man, because like there's glimpses of greatness in Memphis.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like Jaren Jackson has taken strides this season, but I think he has to go a little bit more if they really, really, really want to win a chip. Because this league's hard, man, especially when you're young. You know.
I don't know. They just have so many. They have so many guys that can hurt you from everywhere.
Yep.
And they all play the same way. It's insane, man.
Yep.
But I don't know.
And I just want to say this. Let's end it on this. I want to give Memphis' front staff and their front office and their coaching staff some props because they put together a hell of a team. Yeah, everybody, their whole organization from the top down, what it took to construct this. Because, I mean, think about the Grizzlies. Like, they've always been okay. You know, you got Debo and fucking...
Rudy Gay.
Yeah, like...
Allen.
Gasol and yeah, like they've always been good, but they never won a chip, have they?
I believe they have never won a chip.
So it's coming soon, baby. Ja Morant of Memphis, Tennessee. He's gonna carry that motherfucking organization for their first chip, and Jaren Jackson's gonna be a big part of that too. It's fine. I'm glad he's finally hitting his stride, man. Because that dude is too fucking talented to not be at the top of the league. And he's still my dark horse for DPOY. Throwing that out there. And if he is, I get $20,000. So fuck it. Do it, brother.
He's going to give that to you, is he?
No. I got a FanDuel shit going on. But hey, it's not sponsored. Okay. FanDuel sponsor me, motherfuckers. You already take all my money. Fuck it. All right, man. I got to go, though. We're going to end it right there. This is a good episode. We're going to have to do another one sometime this next week. I got a busy schedule, but we'll have to squeeze it in that way. There's so much shit. And maybe actually we might just hold off until the seedings are fucking finalized. That way we know what we gotta actually talk about. I want to talk about we'll do like a 3-hour episode or something on the fucking playoff matchups and fucking just go into detail, man. We'll do like a fucking a bracket, we'll go fucking hard. We'll have to talk about it and see, man.
Okay.
All right. Hell yeah. All right, well, we're ending right here, man. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, follow us on all our social media. Phoenix Fadeaway on everything: YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're on
all that shit.
Everything, man.
My full circle.
Yeah, exactly. We're ending it right here, man. And we'll see you guys next time when hopefully this playoff seedings are a little bit fucking more cemented. All right, we out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
Later.